Good morning, everyone. How was your weekend? Give me some good news. Who had something good happen this weekend? I know Audra, you're muted, but Audra's working on a
I,
new listing, which is good.
yep, yep, I've got my listing getting ready.
Yeah, George Necky, anybody else?
For me, I just had a showing. I just organized a group showing for my own listing too.
Awesome. Awesome. I got Kevin's joining us now. So what I wanted to dive into today, well, before we get there, I've got a pet peeve to share, and then I want to hear from you guys what else you want to cover today if there's something pressing on your mind. But I've got a pet peeve to share first. Be careful of what we're going to talk about social media today. It's one of the biggest tools you have, whether you're paying for advertising or not paying for advertising. It is one of the biggest tools you have in your business. It's a hunting ground. It's a hunting ground for potential business. And it's really not meant to, in my opinion, be a bitch session. It's not meant to be a place where you look for woe is me. Did anybody see the posts that were going around of basically the woe is me, this is everything a realtor does this weekend? Anybody see those posts? Derek, did you see that post?
I did, unfortunately.
I did not.
It was just a post that everybody was sharing. If you like and share, if you're a realtor and you feel this way, like nobody appreciates us, these are all the things we do, blah, 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 blah. It looks terrible for our business when we share things like that. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know, it's our choice to be in this business. Nobody cares how many hours we put in, how we don't have retirement normally, that we don't have insurance and all this other crap. Nobody cares. We chose to be in this business. So don't share stuff like that. That's just my opinion. If you want to just throw social media out the window as a hunting grounds for your business, then go ahead, post all those things you want. But I don't agree with them. Just the same reason not even a month ago, everybody was going around, hey, go to Zillow and put in your the first home, your home, and your first home, and see what it's worth today versus the day you bought it. Okay, yeah, let's go send everybody to Zillow. That makes sense. Let's do that. Let's send all our customers to Zillow. Let's do that. So don't do that. But jumping back into it, is there anything that you guys want to cover today on social media that's kind of pressing on your mind? Because we're going to talk about paid advertising and free opportunities to use your social media to your advantage. Is there anything anybody wants to cover or ask before we jump into that?
Yes, I would like to ask, I know we should have we should have an engine, or we should have an app that would help us to post things on social media. Because if you need to do it directly, you know how much they charge. If you're on Facebook, you have to boost it. So what is the most affordable way in real that an agent can do to actually have his postings on the social media?
Okay. So we will cover that. I'm just looking at your social media and it looks like you have 673 friends. I would definitely start by having a lot more friends. The more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. If you want, I mean, for most agents, they're just not so into the privacy and everything like that. I look at social media as my business tool. Yeah, my family and friends can see some pictures and stay in touch with family members too. But to me, it's 100% business tool. If I didn't need it or see it as a business tool, I'd delete it, to be honest with you. Because there's many days it gives me more negative thoughts and feelings than it does positive ones. So I'd probably delete it if it wasn't for me. But we will go over that for sure. And whether you need a website to take them to or not, and I'll share my thoughts on why I don't think you absolutely need one. It's okay if you do, but it's not a necessity. Any other questions you guys want to cover on this?
What do you post every time? I mean, content. Is this something that Real has that we can based or whatever.
Sure, we can talk about that as well. Anybody else? All right, let's jump in.
So, Tracy, well, one of the things that I've struggled, I mean, I have some decent followings, but one of the things I struggle with is local followers rather than I mean, Facebook, I have 5,000, I think close to 5,000 followers, LinkedIn, same thing. And it's mostly real estate agents, mortgage professionals. That's not where I'm getting my business. So that's a bit of a frustration. You know, especially as I'm trying to build out Instagram. I don't want 90% of them to be real estate agents. I want 90% of them to be, you know, people who live in you know, the Haverhill area.
Okay. We'll go over that as well. Let's start there. One of the things I would suggest, and I totally agree with this, is like, where are your friends? Who are your friends? For me, I don't get a lot of clients from it because most of my audience is agents. I'm an agent supporter. I'm a growth leader. I was a broker for 12 years. My audience became mostly real estate agents. And I'm okay with that. And I'm not trying to mix the two because that I think can get confusing. For most of you, it's going to be 100% client based. So let's start thinking about what that looks like and how do we find local people. I always recommend joining any of the local groups you can. I wasn't sure, like, so I just typed in Tewksbury, Massachusetts into the search bar, and you see a bunch of pages come up, and you also see groups. I would be joining all these groups. I would be joining these groups, watching the members. Once you're a member, you could just look at who's in there, who's making comments, and just friend request them. Most of the time, they're going to just see where you live or see that you're maybe have common friends. And I don't even think that for most people, there's even a barometer anymore for accepting or not. If it doesn't look like you just created the account, then they're just going to accept your friend request anyways. And make comments in those groups and start really focusing on using it to grow locality versus, you know, geographically everywhere. Does that make sense? Or Kevin, are you doing those kind of things?
I do.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as I should, but you know, that's definitely the organic growth is always, you know, that mortgage broker or that real estate agent. And at times can be a little frustrating.
What do you mean by that?
Like organically, what signs up to follow me are mortgage broker, someone in the real estate world who wants to sell me something.
I mean, and that's going to happen with people that are there because other people are trying to grow their audience and they want you to be their audience. So you'll have to, I mean, for you, you have to define who you want as an audience. I wouldn't look at as the people that are friend requesting you. I would spend more time on, you know, outpacing the people that are friend requesting you or the people that you're friend requesting and the groups that you want to, and focus most of your attention for posting on what might be relevant to those groups. You know, if it's Tewksbury, Mass residents, then of these 11,000 people, probably a good share of them are probably in Tewksbury, you know, and if you can, whether you are just posting it on your personal page or you're starting to grow your own community, you can invite people within those common groups into a group that you create. So I've seen some really good success. It takes time, like any of this is going to take time, but creating your own community group. I used to teach a class on creating a community group called like the Best of Tewksbury or the Best of Shrewsbury, the Best of Haverhill, and inviting people from these other groups into that group and sharing something great that's going on in town, whether it's an event, whether it's a place that you love to go out to eat. Interviewing people that are within that group can work well. I sat and closely watched one of my agents do this for a full day. Instead of going out to all these locations, which I told her she should have done, she had 12 people come in one day from different businesses into the office and shoot videos with each of those business owners. And every single one of them, before they left, they thanked her for doing this and promoting their business for them because they don't like to talk about themselves. And they all said, you know what, I've got a friend that's thinking about buying. they wanted to give back. So they were literally every single one of them was trying to find someone that they knew that was looking to buy or sell to give something back for as a thank you for doing this interview. But then also from posting those things and tagging that person in those posts, all of a sudden they got a bunch of likers, nothing about real estate, just, they'll find that out on their own, but a bunch of new friend requests just based on the post tagging that person in that post, because then all their friends obviously see it. So I think a lot of times that effort is just as good as any effort made at posting listings and other stuff. So does that help a little bit? Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Or suggestions? Has anybody done anything like that?
Tracy, I think if they want to grow an organic group, it's definitely the way to do it, is to build a page for that community. And it's, again, we always say that we're in that we sell the lifestyle of the community, that we're selling a lot. So, why do people want to live in a certain community, or a certain area? You don't have to do one town. You could do, Merrimack Valley. You could do, whatever it's going to be, a group of towns, and do something that you like. Kevin, I know that you like food, like some of us do. You could do restaurant reviews, go for lunch and interview the owner right there. There's a lot of things you can do, to grow a local audience. But, Tracy, I think it's a great idea what you said with all these other groups, just get involved, in these different community pages and start commenting and engaging. And then if you want to build your own page, go for it.
Okay. Anything else on that? I mean, that's where I would, if you're really looking for locality, like I want to get local, I want to get people that are in my neighborhoods that I don't already know into my world. This is probably to me, the best way you could do it. It's not going to be paid advertising. It's not going to be, anything that's going to, it's not going to be direct mail. To me, all that stuff would be a waste of time. People follow these groups a lot. I mean, I don't know if this group will let me see what's going on, but 29 new posts today in this group. That's a lot. Like I've started spending more time, even just in some of the real estate groups nationally, just spending a little bit more time commenting, and like I'll get new friend requests from people that saw my comment or liked my comment. Or I had someone yesterday say, "Hey, you seem like someone I need to know." And so I'm trying to work that into a conversation. And then it thought to me like, wow, that would be a great post for me to use for people that I want to connect with. Hey, you seem like someone I should know. People love that. People feel important when you say that. So if it's somebody that's in a city, important in the city, or like a top contributor in some of these groups, reach out to them, direct message them, say, hey, you could direct message anybody that posts on any of those posts today and say, I liked your post today. I wanted to talk about it offline. Just start a DM with them. Slide into their DMs. So I would definitely focus on a good amount of energy on that. Then we really have to think about what is the content of our real estate mix of what we're posting. Do you think anybody really cares, unless they're like buying or selling right now, about your just sold post?
No.
They don't. No, they don't care how many houses you sold. They don't care how hard your job is. They just want, what are you looking for when you're on Facebook?
I personally would not be on Facebook or Instagram if it wasn't for real estate.
So
Right.
And maybe that's my problem.
well, again, I think you have to think about it as being an advisor for people. So, you know, you could think about the times of the season. I know right now, within my own database, I had 4 or 5 people that reached out and asked me for companies that do gutter cleanouts. I had another couple people call me and say, hey, listen, you know, we're getting older. We decided we want someone to plow our driveway. Who do you know? So not only can you think about, you know, local businesses for stuff that will get attraction to your page, but also, you know, time of year and clients and having a Rolodex. You know, the ultimate way to get referrals and people to call you about real estate is if you're constantly have good content out there that people can actually use. So like Tracy said, it's not about your just listed, your just sold. You're going to put those out there anyways for branding and advertising. But what groups could you go out and interview, and what clients could you go get to help you? And like Tracy said, it's business to business. So right now, a few things are, you know, gutters, snow removal, making sure people have their heating systems tuned up. You can interview a local HVAC company. You know, on one of the calls with Joe, he mentioned solar companies. People have lots of questions on solar. Is it good? Is it bad? Okay. These are all people that could give you referrals in real estate as well. And you're doing something at the same time to help your clients.
A lot of times we think about being the originator of the information. So like Kevin, you might think about like going out, finding a bunch about solar and then just regurgitating it in a video or a blog or anything. And I think those things are all worthwhile efforts, but I'd also be thinking about before I do that, how can I make someone else the star and tap into all the connections that they already have? One way to do that is an interview and then tagging them in it, or just even making a post and saying, hey, you know, I just had this HVAC company, you know, come out and analyze a furnace for one of my buyers that they're buying, top-notch, you know, came quick, gave us top-notch advice, tag them in the post. You know, just even simple things like that. I think we have to start looking at who are we connected to that have a lot of followers, that have a strong social media presence that we can tap into. You know, because sometimes our audience just is, you know, just used to hearing us and they just get bored with it. You know, and I know it's also a lot of work, but just liking, I find myself a lot of times posting, but not liking other people's stuff or not sharing other stuff. And that's when I feel like my page gets stale. It's like, it's not getting enough interaction. Sharan talks about page warmers. You know, before you post something you really want people to see, post a page warmer, a picture of your cat or your dog, something cute, something funny, something entertaining before you talk about something serious. Because then it gets people, the algorithm saying, oh, well, the last post that they posted was a dog picture and it got 100 likes. So the next one should be just as worthy of as many likes. So they'll feed it up to more people in your connection list. The other thing I think is important is, you know, mix of personal and business, but also not giving away, like this goes to George's question. Everybody gets worried about like, where am I going to land people? Like I've got a listing, where am I going to land them? Or I think we have all kinds of opportunities in our markets to, you know, highlight someone else's, you know, listing. If we're friend connections with some other agent, some other company, or somebody else at Rio is sharing a local listing you think would be great, but being careful of what are you sharing. A couple things that I think are important right now is having I'm going to use Joe Taylor Group as an example. They're out in Vegas. They're part of Joe Herrera's group, but they do this stuff extremely well. They get a ton of leads from social media, and this is basically how they do it. Number one, they said, I was listening to him on one of the podcasts, and he said, always have a phone number, you know, in your banner if you can. You know, put a couple pictures together. It might be you, whatever it is, might be your company. Make sure you get your phone number in there. They get a lot of calls from that. People that are just like, well, I don't want a DM. I don't know. Let me just pick up the phone and call. But then the other thing that you see a lot is if you look at a listing like this, they've got some hashtags in there. They're using a buy down teaser. So the sellers probably said, you know what, we'll do a seller closing cost credit. Instead of just saying seller closing cost credit, they've figured out what the buy down would be. So that's a hook. That's for sure a hook right there. Comment below for price and location. No location, no price. I think agents are making a big mistake by putting all the information out there. Because if you put the price, if that's not the price for someone, they're never going to DM you. They're not going to DM you or comment and say, oh, you know, that wasn't the right one for me, but I am looking for a house if you run across one. No, they're not going to message at all. So by leaving that information out, you're going to get a lot more contacts. And I've watched some of these ads, and I've watched other people do it as well. And people will just like comment like location, just sent a DM. They'll never give it without getting into a conversation with them. So like, I think we are making the mistake of giving out way too much information. Sent in, address, sent you a message, looking for information, people tagging other people in it. Like, look at all the comments on this thing. A ton. And they're all looking for the information that if they had just given the price and location, do you know how many comments or DMs they would have had? Probably none.
Zero. I mean,
Zero.
see, the big thing you're getting to here is they're getting engagement off their posts.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea, is to get engagement.
And shares, and that's the kind of stuff we can do better as a group as well. Post it in Project Real Wealth. If you've got a new listing, post it there. Go into MLS and search Real for office and see what listings are in there, and just try to, obviously I'd reach out and say, hey, do you mind if I share your listing? But if it's on social media, I think people kind of think it's common practice to share. I wouldn't think you necessarily have to ask someone about sharing their post on social media. And a lot of times people aren't going to really pay attention to whether that's your business or not. And the example I get of that is I'll share a lot of times teams and other people that have joined Real, that have been other people have posted. They're not in my network, but nobody knows that. Nobody pays attention to that stuff enough. All they see is like, wow, Tracy seems to be introducing a lot of people. I've had people say like, oh, congratulations on that one. And I'm like, they didn't come in under me. I'm just sharing success, what's going on, stuff that's going on. And, I'm sure like, Joe Herrera, shared it. There's other people, 7 people have shared it, 100 people have commented. You start to look down at these, you'll see a lot of these. Like this one only had 6 comments, 1 share. This one, 25 comments, 3 shares. This one, 40 comments. This one, 29 comments. So I'm sure, and I know they're advertising with these 2 from their business page, but the rules don't change. Limited information, some pictures, get them interested. It's the same thing Sharan teaches with his marketing emails. So he'll create a database of people that are looking for investment properties. And every week he'll send the list, an email out with 3 properties, but he won't give them the price or the location, just some details like hot investment, this town. He might add the town, but maybe a picture, 1 picture, 2 pictures, but limited information. Because if someone's interested, you want them to have the conversation with you. We're seeking conversations is what we're really seeking. We have to stop thinking about wanting to take them to an IDX website and get them registered. And then, because anybody who's played that game before, and I play that game a lot, is if you give them once they get what they want, they don't want to talk to you.
Until they know you.
What's that?
Until they know. Well, I think what you just said is correct. Until they know you, you need 3 or 4 contacts with them before they'll actually open up and start to talk to you.
Correct.
So Tracy, let's shift gears a little bit from, we covered a little bit organic. Let's shift gears into what success you're having with some paid ads.
Okay,
Because I think people are curious as to what's working now and what's your follow-up plan? How do you engage them after the ad?
sure. All right. So this is one of the ads that's working very well for our team right now. We're getting leads for average of $17 a lead, typically week to week. And it's keying in on, I think the biggest advice I could give is we need to stop jumping to the end. We want to jump to the end of, let's get you in a house next week, get you under agreement and get you closed within 45 days. Hopefully, and we've had this happen, some people move quickly, others don't. I don't care whether they move quickly or don't, especially when the leads are a low cost. The problem with leads like Zillow, where you're spending $500 a lead, is you've got no choice. You've got to get them to move quick, or you're just not going to get any return on your investment. These kind of ads are more, you get a fair share more people that are longer term than shorter term, but the automation is what weeds that out. So this is the hook. The hook is tired of your landlord, tired of noisy neighbors, tired of yearly rent increases. If you've had enough, then it's time to say goodbye to renting. I mean, that's the main part of the hook. It's not, are you interested in buying a home? It's not, this is the price of the homes on the market right now. It's not, hey, if you're looking to buy a home in blank, click here to get access to all the listings currently available in Shrewsbury. That stuff's all boring. That stuff's beyond where they're at. You got to meet people where they're at. So, for this ad, it's meeting renters where they're at. They're tired of their landlord. They're tired of noisy neighbors. These kind of things, they're feeling regardless of what they know about the interest rates, the monthly payments, etc. So we're jumping in and we're also giving them a couple hooks like, hey, you could get as low as a 4% interest rate. They don't need to know what a buy down program is yet. Just they need to know enough to be interested and curious. So we kind of walk through. I don't think anybody really reads past this first, couple paragraphs, but the picture ties into this thought. What I want them to think in their heads, and this is any good ad, I think you have to think about these things, is where am I meeting them where they're at? Where am I going to spark their interest and create a relatable feeling of where they're at now? What I want them to see with this ad is I want them to see, okay, and these houses are in Worcester County. I took examples from Solds on MLS and just basically said $2,400 a month. I gave them a few different options of where I think some of these people could be at, somewhere between $1,900 and $2,400 a month. They don't know how to relate that to an interest rate. That's all they know is what I'm paying for rent now. And, oh, wow, I could own a house for $2,400 a month. That's what I'm paying for a 3-bedroom in Worcester right now.
So Tracy, the big thing here too is point out the comments, 69 comments.
Yeah.
So that has engagement.
Yep. I've gotten a decent amount of people, probably just in the last month, 20 to 30 direct messages over people signing up. So they'll message, hey, interested. They'll tag other people in it. So it's the same kind of concept of what Joe's doing with a listing. You're doing with not having a listing, but giving the people a path towards a next step. And I think a lot of times we have to think about that next step. We want the next step is to be them signing up. When they sign up, I'll show you that end of it. So that's the ad. It's performing very well. If I jump back into the actual drip part of it, I don't honestly care if you don't have the full drip set up, because you can have these conversations via DM or a phone call or a text directly from your phone. So if you're not there yet to, want to put either my CRM into play or just go through and creating all this stuff in your own CRM, you can do it by just using the Facebook lead capture form. And I'm actually using the Facebook lead capture form. You'll see I'm using one that I created on here because you want to play Facebook's game. You want to play Facebook and Instagram's game. Their game is We want all the data within our grasp, not your grasp, on a separate website. So I use the form. I use the lead form. And let me jump back here and show you, close this out. So if you use the lead form, just in the last, what is this? November 1st and November 13th, 71 leads. And I can just click on those and it'll show me the CSV file of every lead I got. I'll show you this so that you can see kind of what I'm grabbing for information. The only information I want from them up front, which is counterintuitive to what many agents would think, is I only want their phone number and the towns of interest. Obviously, I'm going to want to know what's their monthly budget and everything else. But if I ask for that all up front and they give it to me all up front, they're going to be less likely to take the next step with me, which is engaging with us back and forth. So they're giving us name, phone number, towns of interest. Hyde Park, Milton, Shrewsbury, Peabody, Boston, Saugus, Braintree, Salem, Stoneham, Boston, Attleboro, they're all over the place. On the next step is they go into the database, and I'll bring you to what this one looks like. So there's 427 people in this automation right now. So the first automated text that goes out is, I noticed you're interested in homes in blank town. So I'm reiterating what they told me. You're interested in towns in this. I'm curious, would you mind telling me what your target monthly budget is for homes, so we can send you the right list? So we tell them in the ad, we'll send them a list of homes that match what they're looking for. But we didn't ask them for all the information up front because I want another reason to be trying to reach out to them. So we're using that, what is your monthly budget, so we can send you the right list, to try to get them to make that next response. And a lot of people do respond. But then we also say, hey, we're trying to get them to book a home buying readiness course. We stopped using the word pre-approval because a lot of people are scared by that. They want to know how close they are to being able to buy, but they're scared of the word pre-approval because what are they afraid of? Being rejected. They don't want to be rejected. They don't want to, they don't want people to say, what are you, crazy? Your credit sucks. They don't want people to say, no, they got no chance of buying a home. So we're trying to book them a home buying readiness call with us that we would connect in with a lender on as well. Because for a first-time home buyer, it's going to be, we want them to we want to get an idea and they want to get an idea, how soon could I actually do this? So we get some book calls from that. But what's funny also is, I had a typo in there. That's funny. Is we want to give them another option. So the other option in this is, you'll see, is like, hey, if you're eager to get started on looking for homes, click on our website. So I am taking them to an IDX website. And this is kind of a next level thing. As I said, if you get their information, you don't need all this. You don't have to have all this other stuff if you're just going to pick up the phone and call. I'm bringing in leads at such a pace that I want other things automatically set up, like these texts and these emails. But I'm also, instead of just taking them to the IDX, I'm doing that secondarily. So they're going over to our IDX website, which I'm just using Chime, which is Real's product. That's who they're using for whatever it is, $40 a month. And this person signed up themselves last night. This person went through here, went through the Facebook ad, signed themselves up, got this text, took the next step, and signed themselves up on my IDX website also, and looked at 2 properties. Did 8 searches, looked at 2 properties. That shows a higher level intent. So now that's someone I'm like, okay, I'm really trying to get a hold of that person because they saw the ad on Facebook. They're tired of being a renter. They took the next step. They registered. They put the towns of interest in. Then they saw the text, they clicked on the text, they went to this website, they punched in their information, they did a search and looked at 2 properties. Is that pretty good intent? I think so. So that's the first text that goes out. Matching email goes out the same time. Then I wait 1 day. This next text automatically goes out. Just say, hey, we know you hate your landlord, LOL. But I'm sure one of the biggest questions you have right now is how far away am I from being able to buy a home? We want to help you get the answers to that and get a clear path to home ownership. The way we do this is through our home buyer readiness consultation. Book your consultation below. Then we wait another day, we send another text out and email. Wanted to share some home buyer special offer with you. Click on the link below. We talk about everything that comes with being our part of our home buyer program. Couple more days, wait, still trying to connect with you. When's a good time for a call? I got another text in here that's like, hey, I just tried to call you. When's a good time to call you back? Doesn't mean I called, but people won't know that because they get phone calls all day long from numbers that they just ignore. So we do get some responses from that as well. So this is obviously an ultimate setup for how you go about working these kind of leads. But I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed in starting because they say like, well, I don't have my Chime set up. I don't have the IDX side of it set up. I don't have this full CRM that Tracy's using right now, and I can't afford it right now to pay for a subscription for that too. Then at least start with the Facebook ads and just go in there and call the people and set them up in your contacts in your Gmail. It doesn't matter where you set them up. Just get them out of the CSV file and take them somewhere else. And if you can't even afford to do the Facebook ads to book leads for, what's that, $10.55 over the last week and a half, then do it for free. But make sure that whatever you're doing is worthy of a response or a message or a comment, and that you're not giving away everything and avoiding the conversation altogether. What questions do you have when it comes to all that? Because I know it's a lot.
So,
Okay,
go ahead.
sorry. Tracy, I do have a question about you use Chime, right? So this is
Yeah.
Chime.
Yep.
Because I have something that I'm using, but it's not like this.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have like a tutorial on Chime and see all the stages and like explore all the avenues and see if that would work for me. So I don't know if there's any class or anything so that we could do it fast. I know I can do it alone, but I might take some time, you know.
Tracy, you're reading my mind, man.
Yeah, I would go to real account because I don't honestly, I'm only using Chime for the IDX side of it. I'm not using it for the CRM side. There is a full CRM side of it. And so I don't really know, it wouldn't be a great one to do
I can tell you for the $40 that Real charges, it's a no-brainer for the CRM alone.
yeah, it is. And I would go into the Real Academy and you can search by Chime and find some great so go into your Bolt account and go into your Real Academy and there'll be some Chime trainings in there.
And George, there's also within the Real Academy, they do a live Chime training where there's only a few people on it every week. So it's almost like one-on-one training.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Tracy, if you just go down to hit load more. So they have
Somewhere on here.
yeah, calendar live, just do calendar live events, Tracy. So this right here, there's always a Chime one. Oh, it's now Lofty. So it's on
Oh
the
yeah, it's called Lofty now.
All right, so click on this. Okay, so this is the topics covered, George. And if you scroll down, Tracy, all the recordings are there, but they have live office hours. So down here, George, they walk you through all the videos they have in here. So automation plans, everything's here step by step, and it's all recorded. So you can pause, set it up, and keep going. But they have a training on every single part of Chime. It's already here for you. Chime now Lofty. But Tracy, just scroll up a little bit on this real quick before you leave. Right down there, live office hours to answer any questions every Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a live training on a different part of the website every Tuesday. So
Totally.
again, so Real has someone within Chime/Lofty that's here for us constantly. Back when we had our own brokerage, it was pulling teeth to get a Chime rep to do this like once a month for me. Okay. We have it twice a week.
Yeah.
Because Real chose Chime, now Lofty, I have to get used to saying Lofty, as our CRM of choice. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all there for you.
Yeah. As I said, I don't use a lot of
Right.
tools, but like this is the thing I want everyone to realize is like a website like this with Chime where you can see I've got some active buyers in there. To me, this is just a hunting grounds. If I don't do anything in here, it's not going to produce anything for me. Like I don't have any inclination or hopes or thoughts that business is just going to come out of it because people are getting listing alerts. To me, this is just a place where I can say, okay, what did Valdini look at today? And can I make a call and say, hey, did you notice that new property on Linwood Street? Those would be the kind of calls I make out of here or texts I make out of here. But I'm not looking at this saying this is going to be my be all end all. Because I used to think that. I used to think like if enough people got my listing alerts, they're just going to naturally request a showing and I'll get business. Good luck with that. That's not a winning strategy, in my opinion. It's using it to see who's actually pretty, like this one registered just the other day. And this is on a list of calls for today because, looking between 540 and 810, did 7 different searches, starred 15 properties, viewed 17 properties. If I go back there, they had just basically registered 2 days ago. So, seems pretty, that's a hot call, or that's a hot commodity as far as I'm concerned. Because what we're really trying to do with everything is trying to meet people where they're at and meet people on their timing. We're not going to really convince somebody to do something they're not ready to do. It's being there at the right time and place for them. If it just happens that Michelle is at the right time and place, that she's viewed all these properties and she wants to buy right now, then who knows? She could be a sale at the end of December. But for other people, they're not. But the other thing I want, if you're setting up your own CRM using Chime for the CRM, George, is everything you put in there for automations, think short as a text or a DM. I'm actually going through a lot of these right now. And I don't ever just think my touches are perfect and I'm going to leave them. If there's certain touches that don't get any response at all over a couple month period, I'm rethinking it again. And what I'm rethinking on a lot of these is I'm too wordy sometimes. Short is better. If it takes longer than 5 seconds to read, it's probably too long, which I can't stand because I think I have more value to give if you're going to stick it out with me for a couple minutes at least. But we're not going to get a couple minutes with people. You'll be lucky if you get 10 seconds. Even a lot of the videos we do, they're great, but the skip out rate is pretty high after a few minutes. It's like where people spend their most time now. What social media sites do people spend their most time on?
It's Instagram because they're quick 20, 30-second reels.
And now TikTok too, because they're
TikTok.
quick.
Yep. So one thing that I'm gonna test, and I can bring it back to everybody, is I'm about to run a few of these ads that Tracy's running. And Kevin Vitale on this call showed me a platform for video. And for iPhone users, it goes right into their video with a GIF where it plays. So I'm gonna take a few of Tracy's funnels, shoot 30-second videos or lower on these, and see what type of engagement I can get off the videos as well.
Mhm.
So it's just something that I know Tracy does a lot with video on his pages, but I want to see what the response rate is compared to what Tracy's doing, which is the email and regular SMS funnels versus video.
Right? And paying attention to this, if whatever you're using has stats on it, stats tell a lot too. Like, so when people register and we're, taking them basically to a site page. So once they register on, I'll show you what one of these looks like. Once they register on that ad and they give us the town of interest, they're going to get a text shortly thereafter, but they're automatically being taken to one of these landing pages. So this is one of them. Oh, there it is. Is this it? No, this isn't it. So like this is one of them. So I'm co-branding with a mortgage broker. Here's another thought for you. Mortgage brokers do want leads as well. And if you can co-brand with a mortgage broker to get them to contribute towards the cost of the ads, you can cut your cost down even more. You could cut your cost down to $7 to $8 a lead if you're doing this. But this automatically plays, and I also will watch on my stats. So that's the which one's that? That's a search one. 136 just in the last, let's see, 1 month, 136, 79 unique. So a few of them click back in it more than once. But also what was interesting is my booking had 106 clicks, but only 2 actually registered. So maybe I need to make some adjustments to that, but it's just a watch, and you can see kind of who's clicking on your stuff. If you have that ability, and whatever it is you do is some of the tweaking that you can do at a high level. But I don't think you have to go that far up front. This is kind of stuff as a team leader I have to pay attention to, because I've got more agents on the team, and I'm spending more than the average agent probably does on ads. But just, I constantly thinking, how can I tweak these things? I will look at literally my automations over and over and over and over again to see how can I make them better? How can, if one tech's not getting any responses and another is, and what was the reason that the one got the responses? What was the reasons? Was it because it was short? Was it because it was intriguing? Was it to spark attention? Did it ask a question that people feel they need to answer? What is it? So what other ideas, if it's not listings, here's one of the other suggestions I have, and I think is a great way to spark some interest on Facebook, is if you don't have any listings and you can't find any real listings, or you don't have any friends that you can share their listings from on Facebook, is go out and be looking at your market every week. Go look at some of the properties that are out there and say, hey, I just looked at an amazing home that's available in Chelmsford. If here's a picture of the front, if anybody's interested in a great home, I think it's, being offered at a great price right now, message me. Just find reasons to get people to engage with you.
And again, Tracy, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You're out there previewing property in the market that you want to service.
Yeah.
So if you do get listings, you know how to price. But again, like what you said was, right when you're done previewing the property, take a picture up front, post it on Facebook, go back to the Joe Taylor example you used, create your own ad on that to force engagement in your community. Okay. You have the right to do it with everything, and just scroll right through MLS and see which ones are on lockbox. Okay. You can walk through a property in 10 or 15 minutes. You know, and if you, again, everything has to be consistency. If you want this to work, you can't just post one property, you know, once a month. So time block it into your schedule and do what a lot of agents do around the country in Real, which is the deal of the week. So in your community, here's the deal of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can run with that. And that's the best part about these calls and the calls that are on Real, on the back end in Real Academy. Again, it's constantly there for you guys. You just have to engage with it.
Mm-hmm. Hashtags. Consider the hashtags too. You never know where your traffic might come from. I often sometimes forget even on Facebook to use hashtags, but I've been trying to, what I've started doing is I just save it. If it's on my phone, I save it to my notes. I have a notes section in my phone that I save all my hashtags to. So if I go on my phone right now, and I don't know if you guys can see this. I've got my hashtags saved. So when I create a post, I'll just copy those. I'll write my post and then copy those hashtags. I do the same on my computer. I'll have a Word document with all my hashtags in it. So I don't have to think about all the hashtags I want to add in. All right, what other questions you guys have? Want to leave? We got about 5 minutes for any questions, comments, thoughts.
What's the value of a hashtag?
As you saw, like hashtag real estate. Some people follow these things, you know, so there's 8,600 people. 8.6, yeah, right? Is that 8 points? Yeah, 8,600, 143 million posts that use that hashtag and 8,600 followers. So if someone was following that tag, they would see your posts.
Tracy, do a hashtag with a town in it. There we go. Thank you.
Hashtag Shrewsbury, Mass, 26,000 posts.
You know, so that's how you get local.
Yeah. Also, I'll follow a lot of hashtags because I want to see what's going on. You know, if I can see, I'll get ideas, or I'll see people post in different hashtags. It'll help me figure out the people I want to follow.
I have a quick question. Does Facebook like to see hashtags used or no?
I don't know what the
Because it's-
algorithm feels about that. I don't know. I have
Yes,
to
they-
think they do, because they've all kind of copycatted each other.
Yeah.
Tracy,
know?
I can answer that. Yes, they want. The answer is yes. Facebook, Instagram, they want hashtags.
Okay.
And there's people who has some program who may want some system to show them automatically. Let's say that someone has a real estate hashtag and Shrewsbury hashtag, everything real estate in Shrewsbury, show them to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's benefit to put hashtags.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And if you ever want to kind of figure out what hashtag, I mean, if you just start typing in hashtags you think might be relevant, you'll see, you know, if I just type in real estate, you'll see all these hashtags can come up. And then you can just kind of figure out which ones you want to add into your posts. I would have local, I'd have some that are a little bit larger as well, probably. But you could just search hashtags and just kind of get some ideas. Watch what other people are doing too, also. You know, I think a lot of times we're going on social media for a purpose of, you know, just looking at the content in a simplistic fashion. But if we really start to look at it like, well, you know, this person seems to get a lot of engagement. Why might that be? And look at it, look at their posts, see how they're posting, see who they're friends with, see how many connections they have. See, you know, if you can figure out what might be the secrets that they're seeing for success. Yeah. I think too many times people are trying to look at social media and trying to become major influencers. And they're ignoring the fact that you don't need a ton of followers, just the right kind of followers to really have significant value and opportunity in your social media.
You know, and Tracy, it goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning. If you look at your town and look at some of the different businesses in the town that have a ton of followers, you want to engage with those businesses and those people in the town. And that's when you want to do videos with them and tag them. Because if they already like and trust a certain community, certain business owner, they're going to follow you. Okay. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you also see like grand opening of businesses in these groups. So like this is the Shrewsbury one. You see stuff that's going on with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and you'll see people tagging different posts. And if I wanted, you know, if I thought that this person's someone I should know, I'd add them as a friend. DM them, congratulations on opening your new business. Yeah, I'll stop by sometime. Love to see what you have to offer, whatever it may be. Like, I think these are probably some of your best time spent is in these little community groups. And some of them aren't that little. This one in Shrewsbury is 17,000 people. I can tell you, where is it? No, I don't see one of her posts. Usually she's mixed in here. But Andrea Castanetti, who's in this Shrewsbury page, she's the one that I told you earlier, ran with the concept of interviewing local businesses. And I think she did about $500,000 in gross commission last year, her maybe 10th year in the business, but she worked at it. She worked at it. But now she pretty much owns the town. But start to get involved in these groups, you'll see like, you know, something like this, you know, clean outs, you know, add a friend, say, hey, I'd love to, you know, learn more about your business. Get them on the phone, go talk to them face to face, whatever you can to grow, you know, junk calling and removing. That's somebody I definitely would call. You may not have a client right now that needs that, but just giving them a call and saying, hey, I saw your post. You know, I'm always, you know, my real estate business, you know, a lot of times they are looking for help. You know, I'd love to keep your number handy. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Use it as a relationship starter.
All right, Tracy, we are
All
out of
right.
time.
Sounds good. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.